While my boy C's finishes putting in them bets.
Get that money.
Word to over.
I like that.
We got the big wolf.
That's right. One man wolf pack.
At C's_infinite. Make sure y'all are following. Casa De Lobo. Make sure you become a member. Brunch Exchange coming back soon. VB3.
No swear.
Over, please. The rock chain. I'm waiting.
He said please.
Please. I don't even be a please guy, but come on. I'll take the little one, the baby one. I'll take Beyonce's.
How about the little Rockaway chain?
You got the game. Stop tripping.
I like
C's, welcome, my brother. Welcome.
Yeah.
Great American Hip Hop Debate Podcast.
Greatest podcast in the world.
Gone Postal, episode 171. Like I said, we got the big wolf C's in the building. At C's, CZ_infinite on Instagram. Make sure you're following him. Make sure you're following at Casa De Lobo. Make sure you're following at GAHHD_podcast. At Money_Burns. At EFNR711 if you need studio time, mixing, mastering, somewhere to practice your videos or dance. And at the real_VSOP, only on Twitter.
Or X.
Or now X. Fuck that. Twitter. Real quick, some shout outs. Shout outs to the homies Sam Black and Dibiasi. They just dropped their new project, Traptized Volume 3. Make sure y'all go download that. They was up in VB3 for a photo shoot recently.
Yeah. They were actually, Dibiasi actually was there last night. Sam was there a couple weeks back. They're members at the restaurant.
Right.
So
that's dope.
Good brothers.
Good guys.
Good people, yeah, absolutely. We got to get them back up here together.
Friends
They've been
of
up
the show.
separately. We got to get them back together to
They
talk
just had
that
a
trap
listening
time.
event too.
Yeah, I think Thursday. I was invited, but I couldn't make it, man. I wish I could have, but
I was in a
I'll
coma.
be at the
I
next
told the guys I was in a coma that day.
lot of that
C's
going around.
overworked and tired, man.
Yeah.
Putting in a lot of entrepreneurial work, which we will get to, but also putting in a lot of dad work, which we will get to, because I think that kind of outweighs all this other stuff. But while we're giving shout outs, another big shout out to another member of the spot, friend of the show, family, the brother
Big
Sammy, aka Timeless_product, just launched the first capsule? Chapter? The first capsule of the Timeless product, Timeless Truth line, Timeless Truth. 3 hoodies are out, 3 different flavors, but they sold out. So
I just got mine in the mail, so
There you go.
That sounds like their problem.
that's VIP access right there. I guess mine must be in the mail too then, brother Sammy. That's what's up. I appreciate it,
We need
baby.
that swag.
We need that swag.
Timeless Truth, though. First capsule out. Success. We wish you nothing but success. Keep doing the thing. Keep creating. Use a fashion-forward fly, brother, so I know the product is going to be dope. I'm going to prepay the next capsule so I get it before. I don't even need to see it because I know it's going to be dope. And I'm going to just prepay and put one on the side for me. Word up. But
Big facts.
we got Entrepreneur Extreme, interior creative designer / director, because I seen you was in there fucking putting the walls and everything up by hand. So shout out to that.
He literally put that place together.
Girl, dad, yo, number 1, bro, for real. Like, the shit I see, man, is beautiful. I love it. Owner, operator, VB3, creator, the Brunch Exchange, owner, operator, president, founder, CEO, Casa De Lobo, the brother C's.
Thank you, boys. Thank you.
Welcome, my
I appreciate
bro.
y'all.
Welcome.
I've had the pleasure of going to Casa De Lobo,
So
and
have I.
that shit is beautiful.
It is. It's an experience. It's not an
yeah.
eatery. It's nothing like that. It's an experience.
Yeah,
it
let me
definitely
ask you, what do you consider it? Is it a restaurant? Is it a lounge? Is it a club? Is it a speakeasy? Is it all combined? What do you call it?
I call it change. You know,
Beautiful.
I call it something that Jersey needed.
Right?
You know, that's why we did the members only. It was more so because there's a lot of misconception of what the membership is, and you know, I understood. I'm not doing the best job of communicating what it is because there's so much going on.
Right.
You know that we got to get our feet under, and you know, part of what you said, like putting the walls up and all that, like that was literally a shotgun opening. Like usually when a place opens up, they have a general contractor. The general contractor has his contractors that he works with to build the place out or reface the places, which what we really did.
Right.
And they give you a schedule and they say that this is the timeline, and you know by this date, this project will be finished.
Right.
So if you have that, then what you do is you create a cushion. You say, okay, well, 2 weeks later, we're gonna have the grand opening.
Right.
Right.
Or the soft launch.
Yeah. Or you know, a family and friends event. We didn't have none of that. None of that shit existed.
You just opened. Yo, we
just
here.
like I was a general contractor.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, I was the one meeting with all the contractors, negotiating prices. I was there at 5 o'clock in the morning, sleeping on the sofa while my car was getting towed. Like it was a lot of stuff to get that place where it is now.
Right.
You know, or where it was what it was January 26th when we opened up.
Right.
And that was this year, January 26th?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, we haven't been open a year yet.
Right.
You know,
Wow. I felt like y'all was there at least going on.
No. So yeah, you know, if we would have done things like that, then the whole trajectory of the concept would have been just more clear.
Right.
It would have been more clear cut, more seamless. It would have just been much more understood in a different capacity.
Right.
So because we didn't have an opportunity to do that, it kind of was just like we just opened the doors up, you know, rather than, you know, okay, they gave me, hey, we'll be done January 12th. Okay, so January 26th is our opening. So while we're doing all that construction, we could do the interviews. We get the training going, you know, we get the food down, the menus. We could be promoting. We could be creating all the birthdays, you know, so that we're sold out 3-4 months in advance. But it was kind of like 2 weeks before. I'm the GC. I'm like, I think we could open in about 2 weeks. I've never done this shit before. I've never been a general contractor in my life. So I'm like, okay. So 2 weeks we did promo, and then we opened the doors up, and then we just tried to play catch up. And it was just it's very, very
And all
difficult.
the training and all that?
Everything, man.
Wow.
Everything all at the same time.
That's incredible.
I interior designed the place by myself. People ask me if I hired an interior designer. I
see it. Go on Instagram and you'll
Yeah.
see him in there tearing down the walls, rebuilding the walls,
Yeah.
and doing it hands on. That was what really impressed me. Are you a first time owner? Was this your first endeavor as an owner?
First time ever being an owner of like a brick and mortar.
Right.
You know, like I was a owner of a party bus company, thanks to Dolly.
Right.
You know,
Shout out to Dolly.
Shout out to Dolly back there. We love you, girl.
Absolutely.
You know, yeah, she posted something one time about like, you know, hey, anybody needs, and the most ironic thing is that I had just finished watching what's that, Old School.
Okay.
Oh yeah, blue.
Yeah. So the black van is like picking random people up, and I'm over here watching it, and like we're like in season 2 of the Brunch Exchange, and I'm thinking about how we could just reinvent the wheel and continue to build that product.
Right.
And I'm like, yo, we need a bus, man. We need a party bus, and we need to just put that shit like on Hoboken, Washington, and just pick up a whole bunch of girls and just bring them. You know, transport them, you know, and then I see her post. And I'm like, this is the universe.
Right.
So I hit her up, and she connected me with her peoples, and I got the bus for the low, you know, like it was a great deal, and I just had to take it, you know, and then I just literally sold it like about a month ago, you know, because of the restaurant, but yeah.
But
But
it
you
worked
had a
out.
good
though.
run with it.
It worked out.
And
it
did
worked
you
out.
pick up the girls and transport them to the
We
party?
did all
Hell
that.
yeah.
It
See,
was
that's
great.
how you do it.
That's like in that movie, Project X.
Oh,
When
another
dude shows
good
up with
movie.
the party bus and there's
Oh
just a
yeah,
bunch
he
of
did it
women
right.
coming out. Yeah,
He did it right. Except my bus is old as shit, but you know we made it work.
But I feel like, I don't know, like the old bus be a little more lit for some reason.
Yeah,
Oh hell yeah! 'cause
Right?
they-
Like it's
it gives
like a worn sweater. You feel me? Like
it gives off
fits
that
good.
high school vibe.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
did.
you
We
know what I'm
did.
saying?
I mean, we redid the floors inside. You know, we gave it a paint job.
Right.
Nice new tints. We did everything we could for the inside of it. You know, we hooked it up with new hubcaps, new tires, new front, and we changed it. It was crazy.
Did you ever drive it?
I used to drive that shit like a Civic, man.
Whipping it through Hoboken.
Yo, for real. Yeah, I had to because it was
narrow
tough.
ass streets.
Yo, like I've always, I guess I kind of like I learned as I went, you
Right.
know. So
Of
I always say that, like, you know, it's like my credo, like the only L's we take in life are lessons, you know. So we don't take no losses, you know. We just take lessons. So just like when I got the bus, you know, I would literally be in the passenger seat with all my papers and the title and the registration like a fucking kid, you know. And my driver's like, you know, I never had the privilege of having the owner come with me. And I didn't even feel like an owner. I just felt like, yo, I have a lot of responsibility. I gotta make sure this shit works.
Right.
So, but yeah, man, I owned that, but this is the first time that I own a brick and mortar. So this is a whole different challenge, you know.
And when did you actually know that that's what you wanted to do? Because let me backtrack a little bit. You've been in the promotion game for a minute, right?
For a long time.
Like you're well known, established promoter.
Right. Yeah.
So when did you realize, like, all right, now I have the opportunity to go from promoting spots that other people own to now creating, owning, and promoting my own shit?
I guess I knew that I wanted to own my own place when I felt that my vision and my ability was being like capped.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
by the owners.
By the owners. Yeah.
You
like,
already were superseding them.
And what's crazy is that I didn't even think that I was even like, I feel like I'm selfless. I'm a selfish individual, and I wasn't even thinking like, yo, you know what? Before I give him game, let me go try to get my own place or try to negotiate something or whatnot. You know, it's just like I just wanted the place to be better,
right?
So that my people could enjoy it better, not knowing what I was really doing and like
you
the trajectory
like
I was
consultant to the
yeah.
A free consultant at that.
A free consultant. Yeah, a lot of people got a lot of things from me,
a
like
lot of knowledge
for the low, meaning free.
Yeah.
You know, but
and they're gonna take advantage.
But I didn't care, you know, because you know what it is. Like, I love what I do. You know, like I'm an artist at heart. You know, so I look at venues like an empty space. You know, and then seeing people be there and with their plus ones and their groups of people, and then you know that you've never seen them in your life, you know, and they're there because you created this space and they're having a memorable moment. Yeah. To me, that's magic. That's like a form of art, you know. So like, I always loved it, you know.
Yeah. It's a place where people want to be. Like you created a place where actual people gravitated to it. Yeah,
you know I have just when people used to hit me up, and be like, "Yo, C's, what's up? You know, it's Sammy. I want to do my birthday." You know, that means a lot to me, man. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because that's I'm not saying how much money you're going to spend. Right. Like the fact that you are willing and thought and of considered, celebrating that birthday with me out of anywhere else in the world, you know, or any restaurant or any club or any lounge, anywhere, you know, in my party bus, you know, like that's a very fulfilling feeling. You know, it's just, it's great.
Yeah, know, and so. Shout out to the brother Sammy, because it was due to him that I went to.
Yeah, that's actually how I met you guys. Yeah, you know, was his birthday, and he just got disrespectful as usual.
Well, that's to be expected. But before that, it was a beautiful
it was a nice dining event.
It was terrific
and then all of a sudden, there's a casket coming out in a restaurant, and people are like, "Sees, I thought this was for the brunch." Yeah. Like, it is, but
it's a special.
But Sammy called for something different.
But it was like I said though. To me, it was, I took it in as an experience. You know, I was like,
it was absolutely.
Like one thing that I did notice, and this is where I knew it was kind of like magic, that you were pulling off magic. Place has no windows.
I'm glad you saw that. Yeah,
I was like,
it has windows, but
no. Okay, but you can't see outside.
Yeah, they're huge,
and
windows.
A lot of places depend on their aesthetic of being able to have a view or something where you're sitting down and eating and you have something to look at. Yeah, you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. And you basically took that away, but like I said, it's magic because the place was amazing, impeccable. Like it was when I told him like, yo, this is dope. Yeah. This is fucking dope. This is fucking amazing in here.
Well, we go back to what was said earlier, where like if we were to give it a word, I think that was the question. Like if it was a club, lounge, what would we describe it as? And I said change. You know, and that's part of it. You know, because see what you said was, you know, when people come to a place, aesthetically they're looking for the view. Right. Aesthetically, they're looking around, looking for a TV to watch what game is on. You know, and again, if we're gonna change something, then we change it all the way. Right. You can't just do a slight change, because then it's just you know, you're just making an adjustment. You know.
That's the thing too. You took a tremendous risk at that.
Yes.
No, it was huge, and look, my partners were not happy at all with that decision, but from the beginning, it was understood that the place is mine and the direction is mine and the creativity, everything is mine, and that's just what it is. They just enjoy the ride,
And it worked.
And the thing was because conversations were had where, okay, well, we're going to be losing out money on college football, college basketball, the big four, UFC now is huge. And I know all this stuff because on any given, for example, for this year, they're scheduled 116 sporting events that are huge, right? This is information that I know because it directly impacts the logistics and profit margins of my business, So you have to kind of like dance around that on how you're going to get through that, those times and whatnot. But the way I saw it was, in order for us to create something special, then you had to make that full change. So I wanted to have no distractions whatsoever for my people, So that's why it's magic. That's why it's memorable. That's why it's working, and that's why it's growing on its own organically. Because you're not at the table sitting down and then there's a random person walking their dog and you're just all of a sudden you just look, because we're people that we're interested, and we're always curious, so you look and all of a sudden that nice conversation where you were just about to go to another, you're not going to remember that piece of information because you weren't able to create that piece of information to continue that conversation. Because that threw you off. The person walking their Labradoodle, down 6th Street, or a car coming with big rims or whatnot, and you're like, that's what's up. Then it's just another place. Then it's like all those other restaurants that have the TVs, So one of the great things is that, because it's special, then it's special to those individuals that deserve to be there, that are our members. So yeah, people walk outside, they hear music, and they're like confused. They're like, what's going on? What is that? And all you see is just black windows because they're draped out. And then there's a pizzeria with a wall that, there's no door handle, nothing. There's a security guard there standing around, and, there's no sign for Casa De Lobo. Nope. There's no sign outside, which again, my partner's like, why would we do that? Because then random people would show up.
Exactly.
So it's more of us saying no to the community than like, hey, we didn't this. When you put a sign, it's kind of like, come check us out. Like
you're inviting people.
Yeah, like, don't come over here.
Yeah.
Like if you know about it, then you know about it. If you went through the right protocol and screening process, then all good. Come inside and please, by all means, enjoy the space. Let me introduce you to my friends, my family. Look, this individual has a studio. This individual does a podcast. This guy does real estate. This person has, a facial a clinic and so on and so forth. And so it's a nice organic networking hub and like a social club,
Exactly.
with great food.
Yes.
We didn't even get to that yet.
You're right.
But I love the thought of changing the focus of the patron, right? To where they're now, because of the lack of windows and the lack of TV and the lack of distractions, they're now forced to focus on their partners or the individuals surrounding them, or just the atmosphere, the vibe, like almost you get to sink into it, right?
Yeah.
Like if it's in a movie, you get
because if you think
feel
of the
part
day
of the
that we were
movie.
there, like there was a lot of people there. I knew him. I know Sammy. My cousins were there, Max and Rue and them. They were there, But there was also a lot of people I've never seen. You know what I'm saying? Because every year that we do these things, the group always gets bigger. You know what I'm saying? So, again, I remember talking to everybody in there. I talked to them at least once.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Where, like you said, if we were distracted by other shit, I probably wouldn't have talked to half of those people.
Yeah.
So you would have been.
You don't have to be social.
So he would have been with the people that he's very comfortable with in his hub, looking at one TV and just looking at the score and not caring about socializing and getting to know anybody.
Exactly.
And I just think about, like, I kept seeing memes on Instagram, like, I remember the old times where, like, you knew where C's was or where, John was or where Will was or whatnot, because the DMX, the BMX, the GT performer, the mongoose, the bikes were parked in the front. Like the boys are in the crib. What's up? What's up? You pull up, and that these kids never understand what that is anymore.
You know what that was? That was our social network.
That was our social network.
You know what I'm saying?
Literally was our light, our beacon of light. We just dropped our location.
This is where we at.
Yeah, this is where we
outside.
at. I mean, we outside. You know what I mean?
Like, Nah, but for real, and that's. Again, I thought when I thought about the experience, I was like, that shit was magic, bro. Because any other place, like you said, we would have been distracted. It wouldn't have been the same thing.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't have been the same night.
And on a weekend, when you go there, like I've seen people going to restaurants. Like, I'll go on a date to a restaurant, with my girl, or I go with my boys to a restaurant. And as soon as you walk in, it's people like this. Yeah, you know that.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny is that the people that they're with, right? The way I see it is, if they're not there, those are the people that they're texting.
Yeah,
true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, yo, you're here with them right now.
Yeah. Put
like,
your phone down.
Yo, put your phone down.
Experience the moment.
That shit's
that's a lost
crazy
art,
to me,
though.
Yo. It's like when we go out, when I go out with a certain group, because everybody's notorious for being on their phones, it's kind of like, yo, we make the pile.
Right.
Okay.
We make the pile of phones. Yo, whoever touches that phone pays the bill. That's a fact. That's just what it is.
That's a good rule.
Anybody that touches that phone, that's it. That's just what it is,
Yeah.
So, like, when you're in Casa De Lobo and you look around on any given weekend, on a Friday, on a Saturday night, Thursday, Sunday, everybody's just really into these conversations. You see people laughing and grooving with the music, and it's like their inner child, that inner youth that's still inside. It's in all of us, It comes out and it makes the person playful, So now all of a sudden they're like, oh my God, we're coming back next week. Oh, my girlfriend wants to do her birthday party here and all
this
good.
Is the spot,
is it cool for them to be a member? And I'm like, yeah, So then, I mean, I guess we'll get to that whole membership thing when we get to it, because that's a whole dynamic of how it has to be explained. But there's a reason for everything,
of course.
But yeah, at the end of the day, there's a reason why we did everything and why we don't have TVs there. We donated all the TVs to like this group of ladies that works with families with children with autism.
Okay.
Oh, beautiful.
So we donated all 34 TVs that we had in there.
Wow.
And we donated all of them,
That's amazing.
Yeah, because I just didn't want no TVs whatsoever.
Right.
Not one.
And to go back to what you just said, for those of us that are a little older, we remember going out before phones.
Right.
To a club. And the experience was vastly different.
Hell yeah.
So to be in that atmosphere again is almost like time traveling back to a time when you was younger. There was no phones. You could just get immersed in that club experience. And you would you would remember them shits forever, bro. There's nights I remember forever because of the club, the DJ, the music, the people. And none of them involve fucking phones.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't understand how, I'm not really a big concert guy, right? But when I go to concerts sometimes, when
I know exactly,
I like everybody's like this, and I'm like, yo. I meanwhile, I'm a madman. I'm looking around at the production. I'm looking at the lighting, because that's me. Capacity. I'm like, yo, I could probably do something like this one day, like I just start dreaming.
Yeah, 80,000?
Yeah.
Right. No, for real.
And I'm like, if you like, why do all that?
Yeah.
Like. Obviously, anybody that wants to enjoy, if you're doing this for your friends, then, let everybody else record it. Like, just enjoy it. I went to Dave Chappelle's 50th birthday at the Garden.
That's dope.
And my brother works there. My son works there. So my brother's like, yo, man, just don't leave after the show. He's going to have a crazy surprise. So I'm like, all right, cool. So when I get there, Dave Chappelle has a thing where, like, he had everybody outside with these pouches. They were great pouches with like a little turnkey button that was gray with a little green circle. Right. I remember this shit vividly. And they're like, your phone's going here. I'm like, okay, but it gets locked. And then the only person that could unlock that phone is one of the patrons working for that company that is providing that service for the event.
Yeah.
So I'm like, hold on. In case of an emergency, I was like, I got kids. I'm like, if I need my phone, if you need your phone, you can step out from your seat into the hallway corridors, meet one of our, representatives, and they will open the pouch for you.
Right.
And this is said, obviously, number one, Dave is gonna sell that show to Netflix. That's just what it is. He's gonna catch a lick again. You know, he's a genius.
Hell
you know,
yeah.
but what's funny is that while I'm watching the show, like everybody, it was surreal. It's almost like when I went to Cuba for the first time. That was like traveling like in a fucking capsule.
Yeah.
Like
Back
in
in
a
time.
But you're traveling back in time. It's such a beautiful place.
Right.
The people are beautiful. It is so humble. It's just the situation's just messed up.
But
you
it's
know what I mean?
in visually and aesthetically.
Visually,
you're time
aesthetically, the
traveling.
island, beautiful. But you time travel. You
Yeah.
see all the old cars.
Yeah.
You know, you see the old structure, the old architecture,
Even down to dress.
everything. Yeah. It's crazy. You know what I mean? It's like you really travel back in time. So I'm in the garden and I'm like, yo, I feel like I'm back in Cuba again. Like, because everybody's just vibing.
Yeah.
You see couples kissing each other and hugging each other and boys laughing. Oh, that's hilarious. And not one phone in sight. It's just everybody had their pouches in their pockets and shit.
Because they can't get to
their phones. They can't get to their phones. You know, they can't record anything. They can't do nothing. You know, so
they have to experience the moment in real time.
Yeah.
Yo, that's lacking a lot in today's life.
Yeah.
And guys, real quick, when you record a concert and then you upload it, that shit sound like shit, bro. I can't even. I don't enjoy it. I don't know what song it is. All I hear is
Right.
and you screaming.
Right.
The funny thing is, Jadakiss said the same thing. Right after the verses.
The verses.
They went on tour. Cam, what's them called? Cam, Mace, and Jada.
right?
They went on tour and they were at the Apollo. Jada stopped the show. He was like, yo, chill. He shut the music off. He's like, yo, everybody, put your phones away. Experience this. This is never gonna happen again.
Never, man.
Never. You're never gonna
see crazy.
Yo,
It's like you. This is a motherfucker, man.
Yeah.
You know, like
it's good and bad.
It's like I learned that when I used to wake up first thing in the morning was grab my phone, and I learned that fucks with your brain.
Yeah.
So
the dopamine,
you gotta like get up and just like kind of like take a breath, go wash
Say
your
a
face,
prayer,
plan your day out maybe, talk about what your goals are gonna be. Yeah, man, like take your time before you turn that thing on, man. So
it's fucking.
Let me ask you something. Has anybody ever thrown or thought of throwing like a no phone party? You think people
have done those?
That?
People have done those parties where people collect the phones in the front, and it's been successful for them. I assume, I've heard. I wasn't at it. I did not attend this particular event. I've never done it before,
I've never heard of it. That's why I asked.
I decided to create the space that would just psychologically have you put the phone down instead of me taking it from you like a child. You know?
We see video here and there from the spot, right? Because some people will still eventually whip out their phone, but it's not like flooding.
Yeah,
The internet and shit.
The social media space. Like you'll catch a video here and there. I see a lot of pictures, beautiful pictures, the ambiance and stuff, but it's not overdone. And I think it's because knowingly or unknowingly, you created that time travel back to clubbing when it's about the clubbing and it's about the DJ. And when I was there, I paid so much attention to the DJ.
We all did.
Because that motherfucker was ripping it. Yeah. Shout out to DJ Rockon, because holy shit, bro.
Yo, there was a point that we were all sitting, right? Because it was a big ass thing.
No, I was watching y'all,
and
man.
It's on music.
It's
on music.
I know that. I know that. So when
he
did not fucking
miss. He did not.
One track.
He was on all pistons that night, man.
Wow.
And you know what's crazy though? Look, peep this, right? So I was gonna say something with the whole phone thing, right? Where when you go into a place and the place aesthetic, there's TVs everywhere, everyone's on their phones, so you're gonna end up on your phone. You're gonna end up looking at TV. You know what I mean? Like one day I was watching pickup trucks racing on the NASCAR 500. I'm like, why the fuck am I watching this shit? Yo, I'm like, this is crazy. So what I'm saying is like people go off of energies. Right? And that's the type of energy that we're trying to have there. So you have to understand that it is you guys that were the driving force for him to just get really. He's like, oh, yeah, like that? Well, watch this shit. You haven't seen. Like now people want to go one up. Because they see that you're vibing with it, and that's really what the whole place is about too. Is like us we get excited, when people are there that we know belong there. Like, this is your home, man. Like, we're happy you made it here. We can't wait to have you back.
Absolutely.
Like,
no, it got to the point that first it started with looks, right? Because we look at each other like, yo, he got that one.
Right.
And then it started becoming a competition because he was doing something where he would play the samples and then go into the song. So now we're trying to name the song as soon as you hear the sample and you're like, oh, he about to play this.
That's crazy that he said that, man. Like, because I told Rockon, and he's gonna watch this and he could testify to this, man. Like, I was like, I have a vision, right, where people are going to be peeling back layers of themselves, learning so much about themselves, like real deep information that you can't text this shit. Yeah. You can't talk about this. Like, you just find yourself in these realms, with these people, these magical realms that just like, they're so nostalgic. They feel so beautiful that you start talking about things that you never felt that you would be comfortable about talking with anybody else or at any other moment, So I tell Rockon, I'm like, I see that. Number two, I see with this playlist, because he'll tell you it took us 3 months to put that together. We would, like, him and me, while people were laying down floor and fucking drilling and shit, like, yo, C's, I was like, yo, look at this song. And I would go home and put it on my Spotify and just do my research. I'm like, oh shit, this track right here will be crazy, and write it down, and just keep. And I started following as because Instagram, your phone has an algorithm where it starts recording what you're looking for and what your interests are. So once you start searching enough of those samples, I know what this kid is looking for. And then all of a sudden, the shit will pop up. So I'm like, right there. And I just kept talking about it, like original. And I was just talking to my phone, and it would give me the information. I would write it down. Meet with Rockon, like, on a Wednesday, Thursday at, like, 6 o'clock. Stay there till, like, 1 in the morning, going through music with the sound system. How does this sound? And I told him, to piggyback off of what he just said, was like, I have a vision where it's just like, people are going to be competing, talking about, all right, let's see what the next song is. Whoever picks out the next song, picks out the bill, buys the next sangria. And now he's saying that. I'm just like, it's all working the way it's supposed to work.
You got it.
It's just, I told my team, man, from the beginning, man, like, because we had a lot of people that were doubting it, My partners doubted it.
Show them this video.
Yeah.
Show them this video.
And I remember telling my partner, I'm just like, listen, I'm like, Joe, I need you to do me a favor. I need you to go home. I got some homework for you. He's Italian. He's like, Minga, what you giving me homework? I'm just like, yeah, I'm giving you homework. I'm just like, I want you to go home and I want you to watch The Big Short.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, The Big Short, everybody was used to investing in all this other stuff, man, and everybody's like, why would you ever short the real estate market? You know what I mean? In 2008, but Michael Burry saw something different. He saw a change. He saw a change that it was necessary for him to get involved in. And the rest of it is history. Because it really happened like that.
Yeah, exactly. He saw the whole thing before it
He saw everything happen. So I'm just like, let everybody else invest into everything else. Let's change the game. Let's switch it up.
Also, there's nothing like being the first of.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I was the first to do this.
Yeah.
They're gonna remember that shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And then you kind of, that's kind of like your insurance policy. Because if it fails, shit, then you try it.
Yeah.
At least I stepped up to the plate. And a lot of people can't say that about certain things. And that's why I always encourage people to, like, don't ever be scared to think outside the box, because it's the people that think outside the box that get out of it,
Right.
And that's just,
we're talking about earlier.
Yeah.
That's just how I see that,
You gotta evolve, bro, and you gotta adapt, and everything beautiful with change becomes more beautiful.
Right.
To go back to the beginning of the conversation, because we're still kind of there, with the focus of the patron being shifted, right, with less distractions, you kind of almost put a pressure on yourself to deliver food-wise as well, because they have so much more time to actually focus on the product that they're going to consume. And, thankfully and as planned, obviously the food delivers. You know what I'm saying? The menu delivers. Yeah. Were you also involved hands-on in the creation of the entire menu?
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's all your stuff?
Bro, I know, man. You know what's crazy? You know, I forget about these things because I'm looking at like what we need to do in January, February. You know, like I'm already thinking about the summer. You know, opening up the patio. So it's just like when I get brought back down to reality, you know, like, oh, you know, I know you're running 100 miles an hour. Like he's telling me while we're always like, yo, we're only gonna have you for an hour because you know we know you're a busy man. So I'm going boom and I'm texting somebody in the meantime and I'm like, all right, These moments happen and it's just like, damn, like, yeah, the menu.
I really did that.
Absolutely. Yeah. I did do that. You know, like I went through I didn't just tell my chef, you know, which is my culinary consultant, Chef Daryl Harmon. I didn't just tell him, shout out to him. Yep. I didn't just say, hey, listen, man, design me a menu. You know, like I told him, listen, I want Hispanic tapas. You know, I want the menu to be predominantly shareable plates,
right?
To go with the whole aesthetic of the place, like yo, wait a minute, how's that? You know, because you're having a conversation. Let me try it. Instead of having big plates and just a small, like you got the small plates, which is this portion of the menu, and then you got the large plates, which is this portion, then you got the desserts. Right. So it's mostly shareable items, so you can share your memories together, your moments together. You know,
that's beautiful, man.
So. But obviously, he's the one that created.
Oh, of course.
You know, I mean, there's things on the menu that I'm like, yo, I want it to be like this. I want it to be like, you know, like the Snake River Farms churrasco over the guacamole and the pan. That was my idea. The Migos tacos, like that. You know, we came with that together. Like 3 of us came with that together. That's why it's called the Migos tacos because like the Migos. Right. You know, so we came with that together. R.I.P. You know, take off. Yep. But
shout out the 3 amigos.
Yeah, shout out to them, bro. Funny motherfuckers.
Who brought the is it 24K sprinkled tomahawk, something like that?
Well, we actually wrapped the tomahawk not with the gold on the steak, but on the bone.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, everybody puts gold on the steak, and
I don't trust that.
Yeah, I
don't trust it.
You know,
I don't care what y'all say.
To their defense, it is edible. Yeah. It's an edible leaf.
Okay.
Right. It's a piece of paper that gets burnt on. And it molds to the shape of the steak, but that's just fancy. You know, like
overdone.
So just like I felt like, listen, man, let the steak look like a steak, man. Right. Let it look good because we're not getting it from a local purveyor. Like, you know, we let's wrap the bone with the gold. You know, let's showcase the bone. You know, let's not the steak is the steak. They already know what they're getting.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
You know, so why wrap it in gold?
Yeah,
let's just wrap the bone in gold and take it out.
Right.
So
and it looks amazing.
And it's amazing. It's an
everything.
Amazing piece of steak, man. Like the food is amazing. Like there is times that I go there, you know, like and I park like a guest. I pay my valet like a guest. You know, and the valet is like, you don't have to pay. I'm like, no, I want to pay. Yeah. I walk into the front. Security's like, what are you doing? From? It's like, nah, you know, I walk in, you know.
To get the experience.
And I'm like, I was like, listen, I called my GM, let them know that a customer's walking in. It's me. And I want the whole experience from beginning to end. I want to know what my people are experiencing.
Right.
You know, I want to know how it feels like. So now there's stuff on the menu I still haven't tried. Right. Because I leave that for my experiment. You know, when I go there, I want to experience that. Right. And when I tell my server, I'm like, look, don't tell the chef that it's for me.
Yeah.
Right.
Cook it like if it was for you, for anybody.
Right.
You know, like I want to see how he cooks this. You know, are they in a rush or are they cooking with love back there? Because I told them, like, we're going to feed the community a certain way. We're responsible for feeding the community a certain way. You know, that's just like, I feel like there's unsung heroes, you know, that don't get enough credit. Yeah. You know, restaurant owners is definitely one of them. I know this now, you know.
Responsibility. You said you're feeding the community.
Yeah, like everybody says the restaurant business is tough. You don't get rich off the restaurant business like that. You know what I mean? Like you're not going to become a multi-billionaire, it doesn't work like that. You know what I mean? You could be very, very successful. Absolutely. But it takes a lot, a lot. But, you know, teachers, let's say teachers, for example, if teachers were to be teachers because of the pay that they got, we would not have an education system.
Right.
True, indeed.
You know, so shout out to all the teachers,
Big time.
you know, getting up every day, you know, and you know, putting on for this, for their towns, for their cities, for our kids,
Yeah, for the future.
you know, and they do it because they want to provide that, not because of the paycheck. You know what I mean?
It's a love in it.
Yeah,
absolutely. To go back real quick to our experience there, right? So Rockon, again, shout out to DJ Rockon. He's getting busy. He's doing the sample thing. He's playing the songs. Everybody's vibing. We're competing on sample naming. Yeah. Then this motherfucker goes into some R&B bag.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I happen to be hanging out with Sammy's homie L, an older gentleman, slightly older than us.
Dude at the end, yeah.
So he starts saying, "Oh, this my bag." Yeah. Now he's playing real music.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hell yeah. And I'm sipping. This motherfucker dropped Harold Melvin.
Oh, God.
Oh, you know what that reminded me of? When we were at the concert and they played Mary J.
Oh, yeah.
It's going down or
Cassidy,
whatever going down.
Yeah.
Yo, I don't know if your passion for music. I fucking love music, bro.
Yeah, me too.
So when that shit came on, it was one of those, like, my hand went up, like if I was in
All
church.
of us.
Like, oh, Harold Melvin.
Yeah.
So shout out to that, man.
And
I
think
love that the playlist was so varied and like, yo, that shit was like emotional, bro. Like,
And
spiritual.
think about what he played. That's not a club song.
No,
That is
that
a love
shit
song.
is
Like a
depressing
real
ass
love
Yo,
song.
but that's when I feel like, look, you know, Rockon, he played. I'm not gonna shit on any artist, you know. Like, everybody is trying to be great and all that, but it's a very new artist that everybody knows, very, very well known artist. It's all over the radio, and he plays this individual, and I'm like, don't do that. I'm like, please don't do that. We're not doing that in here. You know, I'm like, I don't want that in here. You know, that this space is something different, and we're gonna protect that energy.
Right.
We're gonna protect that, you know. And he's like, I understand, you know, because just like, you know, we had to have a conversation, like a brother conversation, you know, because, you know, but the ladies love this song. I'm just like, I listen, I love the ladies, but put on some TLC.
They'll love it just as much.
Put on some Mary J. Blige. Put on some Missy Elliott. You know what I mean? Put on some Eve. You know, like, just put on some Lauryn Hill.
Throw that A. Marie thing. That shit slaps
man,
and
like,
it's slept on.
Yo, so much great music.
Yeah.
You know, when they actually used to, like, talk about, like, real things, and, like, you know, now it's just like, I turn the radio
It's
on
noise,
these days. It's crazy.
Not to shit on the new generation,
Yeah.
but there are songs that are 20 years old, 30 years old that you hear two notes and your heart like flutters because
It's
you
like-
know, like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
I've mentioned this before, like maybe 2 or 3 episodes before. It's the music that you're talking about. There's a feeling behind it. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you heard it, you felt something. You couldn't explain it then. You probably can't explain it now. But you felt something. When you listen to this shit today, you don't feel shit. You feel empty, bro.
Yeah, it's just lyrics.
It's just
after
music.
the show, I want to guess the artist though.
Sure. and I'll tell you if you're right or not, you know?
Word up.
But
But it feels empty. A lot of it feels really empty.
a lot of it is repetitive.
It's manufactured, bro. It's
You know,
manufactured for profit.
And it's just like, you know, it gets me upset because I feel like, you know, this young generation that's listening to this, you know, when we were kids, you know, like, we got put onto like real lyricism, like, you know, like real, like real vocals, like real, like just real instruments and beautiful music, like just like real harmony,
Had soul.
real messages, soul behind it. There was like, it was a real production, like it was created great. And it's just like, now it's kind of like, it's just about the 808s and, you know, and
the curses
and the ad-libs
titties
and-
this and the ass
and
that.
yeah.
Ops and
and yeah,
smoking on ops.
and shoot you with here, and it's just crazy. Just like,
It's
yeah,
different, bro.
Yeah, it's a different
We
energy.
used to even be able to learn from music,
yeah,
right? Like I
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
recall.
We're not
things
learning shit.
that I've learned that
You're
I still
learning
hold.
shit. Is
yeah.
what
We're
you're
learning shit.
different.
Ain't nobody else learning anything else, man.
And that's not to shit on all young artists. That's not
Nah,
to shit on
there's a
new
few good
artists.
ones.
There's quality artists putting out good
Absolutely.
music out there. However, the system and the machine and the radio and the media supports artists that are
That's right.
actually negatively impacting the culture in the future, and that's what bothers us.
That's
the
the
good
main
artists rock on.
Yeah,
but
absolutely. There's good ones out
no
there.
pun
There are
intended.
good ones out there.
Right. And just, that's speaking on that, just to piggyback over that real quick. Everybody was always in the beginning, was like, "Sees why Rockon? You could have had this DJ with all the relationships you have in business. Like, why Rockon?" And I'm like, because Rockon is going to go into catalogs of music, right? Naturally, not forced.
Right.
So that kind of, if you're gonna go and dive into that genre of music, if you're gonna make something special, you gotta be him. You got to be able to really understand that music.
You got to tap
into
it.
And you got to understand vibe and crowd, right?
Absolutely.
Because he saw us there.
Oh, yeah.
He knew.
He was watching.
I'm going to fuck with
he
them.
He definitely saw y'all. And he's just like, yo. And he'll come, he's like, yo, C's, killed him tonight. I'm just like,
that group of table.
Just yesterday, the restaurant, for every guy, there was like 7 women in there. The ratio was crazy in it. So what direction did he go in? He went R&B, like 90s, 2000s R&B. He was killed. The girls were getting up, singing. And listen, we're going to be responsible for a lot of babies, man, in 2023, 24, man, because they going home to make love, different kind of love.
That's not babies. That's little wolves.
There you go. A whole new wolf.
A whole new wolf. We're going to have to open up a new place.
There you go.
You get the wolf daycare popping, too.
He said the wolf daycare.
Word up.
That's crazy.
Ain't no daycare open at night. You get the wolf night.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So everybody can party at your spot.
You put the little wolves in the little spot. You know what I mean?
You party, then you're done. You feel nice.
You put the cubs to bed.
The kids are more fun when you're feeling nice and
That's
shit. You
funny.
have mad fun with them playing. Nah, but shout out to that, man. Shout out to DJ Rockon. Absolutely. Had you known him for a long time? How'd you find him?
Long time. Yeah, I met him in a building that he was living at with 2 of my staff members, which one is still working with me. And he was just a super, super dope vibe, great, cool person, down-to-earth guy, very friendly, just super chill. And, those kind of people, man, they don't really exist like that.
Right.
They're literally, walking beams of life. They're like gems.
Yeah.
So, you when you know that you're like that, you gravitate towards them because the energy is matched, So, yeah, from there we took the relationship, flourished it, man. That's my brother now. He did a brunch. The ladies loved his set, but it was the brunch at the time was evolving into trap music, and so we didn't bring him back into that program.
Right.
But I remember having a conversation with him like 3 years ago, and I'm like, yo, Rock, man, I'm working on something, and I already know what I want to do. I'm like, and if this is done, I promise you. And we're having this conversation at a pier in Edgewater, and I'm telling him, I'm like, if this happens, just understand that you're gonna be that guy. And he's like, all right, C's, I'll be waiting for you. And here we are, he became that guy,
Beautiful marriage and a beautiful musical complement to the established aesthetic.
Yeah, absolutely.
He knows what he's doing, bro.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing.
He knows music. You could tell that he knows music.
He knows his shit. He knows his shit.
Various genres, bro.
Yeah.
So shout out to him. If y'all don't know, make sure y'all follow DJ Rockon. If and when y'all pull up to Casa De Lobo, show him some love. He's definitely gonna have you bopping, dancing, singing along, naming samples, trying to compete and trying to guess the next song. Oh, I know what he about to play.
Right.
All that good stuff, man. Big shout out to him, man. Word. Let's get into the Brunch Exchange since you did mention it. That is another creation of yours. How did that come to be? Because I remember a time when brunch ain't even exist. Sunday mornings was for hangover recovery from Saturday night.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a fact. Yeah, brunch was really something that the white folks would do.
Yeah, that was the white people thing.
Asian cats, those formal black guys.
Yuppies.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it was a whole different world.
Yeah.
You would never.
It wasn't
see,
ours.
Never.
It was a different demographic.
And what I mean is the not in the urban nightlife culture.
Like I just said, I said it. Yuppies.
Yeah. So if you ended up at a brunch like at fucking Lavo, Bounce, Bagatelle, Batag, any of those places, because you got invited by one of those friends that just, but it was never any like urban DJ Camilo's in there. There was no, none of those hip hop DJs, those hip hop elements were ever in these places like that.
Right.
It'll be like, DJ, Jay Laser, and you're like, all right, cool.
DJ Uptight.
Yeah, so yeah, DJ Uptight. So but what happened was I got invited to a brunch that, somebody that was in the nightlife in the past, he's not in the nightlife no more. He invited me over to his place. I went over with, at the time, was a girlfriend that I was dating. I went with a small group. And I'm like, yo, how did this shit work? I'm like, dude, like, you're talking about doors opening at 1. I'm like, it's Sunday. He said, yeah, come through. You can have breakfast. You can have like steak and eggs. We got some sangria and so on and so forth. And so I went down there. Long story short, like I saw the play immediately. I'm like, hold on a second. I'm like, this is crazy. I'm like, this don't exist back up north. Yeah. This don't exist in our culture. This don't exist in our nightlife, in the realm of our nightlife, and how we perform and who we perform with.
Right. Yeah.
So I called him. The next day. I told him, thank you for a great time. Thank you for your hospitality. I was like, I'm gonna cookie cut this thing and bring it up north. I'm like, what I'm gonna do is first, I'm calling you out of respect, and number 2, because I'm going to do this, also, I'm not going to compete against you. Rather, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create my own genre of music in which I'm going to deliver. I'm going to create my own operational program, my own staff, and I'm going to do it on the Sundays that you're not scheduled to do it. So we're not competing. I'm like, and what we'll do is we'll come show you love, and then you come show us love, So that's how the whole thing started. And I remember the promoters started showing up to this thing because everybody started talking about it. And the first one was in February of 2014.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're going on 10 years.
Yeah, that's the Brunch Exchange.
Amen, bro. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I got a question, though. Is that customary? Where, like you just said, you asked for, not permission.
Oh, hell no. Amongst promoters, pardon me for answering for you. Amongst cutthroat-ass promoters.
No, not the promoters. I'm talking about, like, your boy that ran that brunch. You know what I'm saying? Like, you told him what you was going to do, like you said, out of respect. Is that customary?
Nah,
not at all.
I don't think he did it because he's a man of respect.
You know what's crazy, man? I appreciate y'all. For real. Because, you see, that's some real shit right there. Because, people don't look at those things anymore.
That's what I'm saying.
And these days that still goes with me, because some people, sometimes may find themselves in a situation where they think it's difficult to work with me.
Right.
But really what it is difficult to work with the kind of person and how you move in this business.
Right.
Because
you're from our cloth.
I came from a different cloth.
Yeah.
I had to show respect.
Yeah.
I had to give
move properly.
So, you gotta show respect to the people that are paving the way. Even though you're gonna come and pave your own way,
right.
You gotta respect that it is because of them that you got some type of direction.
You gotta respect the put on, bro.
Yeah.
People don't respect the put on no more.
So yeah, this individual can contest to that, I did make that phone call. Yo, see, by all means, go ahead. And we did it, and we became a very strong force. It was a great thing. And then what ended up happening was that people that I used to compete with back in the days, we were like, I'm talking about Twitter wars and shit, that crazy shit, like.
Wait, like promoter beef?
Promoter beef, yeah, really? Yeah, that shit really existed back then. It was crazy. But people started coming back, and it was funny to me because they came back and all they ever did was Friday nights, Thursday nights, Saturday nights, which is what we were used to.
Right.
Exactly,
Our culture was used to just that. Up north, it was Thursday night. Yo, you might get a little crazy and step out, because you were about that life. You didn't give a fuck about work.
Depending if you had work the next day. Maybe
Friday you were outside no matter what,
no
and then Saturday you were outside again, and then Sunday you were in the house. Nobody was going out during the day.
Yeah, exactly.
It just was not our thing. You know what I mean? So we made it a thing, and what ended up happening was over time, people came, they wanted to, create the same thing we were creating, but instead of that phone call coming in, they were doing the events the same day as mine, and it's just like, and then calling up our clients, like, yo, Burns, come over here, man. I heard
check
Caesar's
us
doing
out.
these
Yeah,
bottles.
yeah.
I'll do it for this price, you
Right,
know?
right.
And it's just
Cutthroat.
like, so it just, yeah, I'm like, all right, man, damn, here I am, I'm minding my business now. I'm going on year 2, year 3. Now all of a sudden y'all want to come and play, you know. I remember, the real talk, I'm in this spot called House in the city off of Broadway, right outside the Hunt Tunnel. It was a club, right? And DJ Camilo was DJing. And I come up, and he's just like, yo. He's like, warning. I'm just like, what up, bro? He's just like, good. He's like, yo, you heard? I'm like, what's up? He's like, they coming. I'm just like, yeah, I heard.
Oh.
You know, because they already had reached out to them for a booking for their brunch that they were going to start. Wow. You know? Yeah. And again, listen, man, you know, it was just a phone call, man. Yeah. That's all it really was, man.
It's
just
respect,
like, you know,
and it lacks.
But then what happens is that you take that as disrespect now, right? So what am I supposed to do with that? You know? So yeah, at the end of the day, we crushed them though, you know.
I was just gonna say, y'all going on 10 years, and I don't hear about no other brunches like I hear about y'all shit.
We did the Thanos, man. They just disappeared.
As
you know,
it
was
be,
over.
Bro.
You know,
as it should be. The cream always gonna rise to the top, bro.
The cream always rises to the top.
Yeah, that's it, man. We stayed true, and you know, we stayed true to what we had to do. We stayed focused on our mission, man. We just stayed positive, you know, and the support was there from the community, you know. So, you know, shout out to all my people that has always been there. Y'all know exactly who y'all are. Absolutely. And, you know, I always say without them, there is no Wolf Pack, there is no Wolves, there is no Brunch Exchange, there is no Casa De Lobo. Yeah. You know, that's just really what it is, man. We're blessed. I'm blessed, and I'm grateful.
It's a cycle. You feel me? Because they're there because they fuck with you as a person, as an individual, as a soul, as a spirit, as an energy, and then it comes that you fuck with them as a people, and then you make a place for them to gather. So you know what I'm saying? It's like a circle of love and shit.
And that's why we did the members thing. I wanted to protect that. I wanted to protect them.
So break that down for us. If someone wants to become a member, what do they have to do?
So the membership is very easy. You know, everybody has this conception where the membership is $1,000. The VIP membership is $1,000. That unlocks a whole bunch of different benefits, right? To be a member at the restaurant, you just have to email us. You just have to reach out to one of the staff members and say you would like to come in. Right. You know, you just have to DM us on Instagram and show us your interest, you know, but you're going to get screened. Right. That's really all it is. So,
now by screen, you mean you're going to check out their Instagram?
Yeah, we're going to go.
You're going to see what kind of person they are.
Now, if you're a complete stranger and no one has heard of you.
Right. No vouching.
You know, right. Nobody could vouch for you. Then obviously we got to go into your social media. Yeah. Because I'm not just going to let anybody sit next to both y'all.
Right.
You know, I know that y'all are serious men, good men. Y'all about your business. You're trying to be great. You know, you're being great right now. We're all being great right now, right? So I don't want nobody to come in here and take away from that energy, you know? Right, I don't want nobody coming into the place and you guys are there with like 4 or 5 girls and then, you know, they're like looking at your chicks and stuff like that. Nah, everybody that's in there got something going on, man. Ain't nobody in there hating on anybody. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, you know, if you're a complete stranger, then DM us, you know, email us, and then we go through your social media. We want to see how you're living. We want to see if you're a family man. You know, we want to see if you got kids, you know, like if you like to eat good, you know, if you like to travel. You know, we want to see the people that hang out with you. We want to see the people that are in your comments. And we look 30 weeks into people's social media, you know, to make sure that, all right, cool, you know what, brother, we would love to have you, you know, come inside. Now, when people come and arrive, the interview process starts. You know, that's where the business model shifts into. So the membership model is American Express. Right. Okay. Just so that we're just comparing apples to apples in a sense, right? So in the most layman's terms, the easiest way for me to break this down, the membership is like the American Express model. Okay. You can't just get an American Express card. No. You got to start with your like Macy's card. You got to get yourself like a Sunoco gas card, you know, like a Walmart credit card, you know. Build up. You know, then one day you're going to get the envelope. You've been invited. Yep. Oh, shit. I got my Amex. That's what's up. So you get the green card. You get a green card. or you get the clear one with the blue square, whatever that's called. Yeah, so that's the platinum though. But
whatever, yeah.
All right, so you start with the green card. That's a charge card.
Now you got to build up.
So
again.
now you got to build up again. That charge card is basically like whatever you pay for, you got to pay for at the end of the month, right? But then because you took care of that card so well, then you get the platinum card invitation. But the platinum card invitation is like, yo, listen, man, you've been taking care of your stuff so well. We want you to get this card now, but this card comes with all these benefits, meaning like our American Express lounge inside the fucking airport. So when I go fly, I go to the American Express lounge and I sit there, drink coffee, eat croissants for free, use their Wi-Fi, work, before I get on my flight. And that's a perk, and it feels good because while you're there, you're like, yo, I earned this. You know what I mean? So that's that part that's the membership. Now, those are the different models, right? To acquire the membership is another shift. Now we're going to compare another business model. Now we're in Uber and we're in Lyft, okay? When you guys go to get an Uber. Let's say you go to get an Uber tonight. You're going to go hang out with some of your boys. You're going to go have some dinner tonight at Casa De Lobo, You're going to have some drinks and cocktails at Casa De Lobo, whatnot. You're like, yo, you know what? I'm gonna have some drinks. I don't really want to drive. You know what? I want a vehicle, So you pick up your vehicle. You get yourself a nice black truck, with the waters, with the cream, the lotion, the charging cables, All
this shit.
Okay. So when your ride is finished, what happens on your phone immediately? You have to review that driver.
Review him,
Was he friendly? Was the car clean? Professional? Good conversation? All these things pop up, right? So you're reviewing the driver. But here's the thing. Who owns those trucks? Who owns those cars? Does Lyft or Uber own them?
No.
They
do.
They do.
Driver.
So when you get out, the driver's like, yo, how was your passenger? Because we want to protect your truck and car from being fucking destroyed from these outside elements of these animals that don't know how to treat shit.
Right.
Exactly.
So okay, how was C's? How was Burnt? How was him as a passenger? Oh, great, 5.
Yeah.
My rating on Lyft and Uber is 4.9.
Right.
Like actually, sorry, Lyft is 4.9. Uber, I'm banned from Uber because I fucked up one time. I was
Uber, let him back.
He's a good guy.
I was a 4.9, but I fucked up, So I literally I had a situation where I got in the car, I fucked up, I lit a cigarette in there, I got banned. So this is the same thing, Casa De Lobo is my vessel, my car, my vehicle, Like when you go in there, I tell people all the time, like, yo, rub your hand under the bar real quick. People go under the bar. They're like, yo, that's crazy. Like, he's like, yo, I was so worried about doing that, C's, but you're my mans, so I know you're not going to steer me in the wrong direction. He's like, but that was fucking crazy. He's like, there's not one piece of gum on there. I'm like, nah, if you go to coat check right now, there's people's coats still there. They got lid and they left them there. They're still there. No one's going to touch them. Yeah. You can leave your phone there, whatever. Right. So it's a place of respect, a place of love, and once you are a member, you go through that protocol, that process, you respect that process, then you know what you're a part of. You know that everybody in there's been screened,
And you can feel at home.
Yeah.
You
exactly.
feel safe. You know what I'm saying? There's not many places that you go to, especially places where it's gathering places. Bars, clubs, lounges, that you just automatically feel safe.
Yeah.
So that is almost like a priceless feeling, bro.
Absolutely.
You know what
Especially in today's society where you have these fucking idiots showing up to places, going to shoot the place up and act stupid. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's not what we're gonna ever accept.
So to all my patrons who are misinformed, if you want to go to Casa De Lobo, all you gotta do is send an email, send a DM, go through the process. You don't have to pay a stack unless you want to be a VIP member. If you do that. Do that. Shit, hell yeah. If that's what you want to do that. And then you get the extra perks, which we're not going to talk about on here. That's for the VIP members.
Right.
So do the shit, then you get to know what the perks are. Let me ask you a question, though. Has anybody shot a video there yet?
They have. They've shot Fab, Capella Gray, Red Cafe. They shot a video there. Vado just shot a video there.
Word?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
dope,
dope,
you.
bro.
Yeah, my brother January, John Boy, he shot a video.
Yeah, John Boy. Hey, John Boy,
That's
what
my
up,
friend of the
man?
show,
Word. Shout out to the bro,
Yeah,
man.
so yeah, they
That's dope.
they've done
Because
some
when
great
I
things.
went in, I was like, damn, somebody gotta have.
Yeah.
Somebody had to have shot a video in
Yeah.
here already.
Yeah.
Even in the pizzeria, like you
Yeah,
could shoot
the
a
whole
video.
thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
the whole thing.
Yeah.
The whole
Cafe
process.
actually told me that Fab like literally called him while he was in the Bahamas, saying like in Jamaica. I'm sorry, he was in Jamaica and he told Cafe like, listen, man, this is where we gotta shoot the video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The song
Who was a member first?
It was called Vibe and Don't Tell.
Cafe or Fab?
Fab.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, okay,
Fab.
so he put him on.
Yeah.
Dope,
Yeah.
man. That's beautiful, man.
Yeah, shouts to that.
Definitely a space for video, bro.
Oh,
Like,
hell
that,
yeah.
that was so immediate.
Yeah. Yeah.
You'd be a fool not to. You
Yeah,
feel me? If
exactly.
you can, if you have the
And to
opportunity
piggyback what you were saying with the benefits of the VIP member, like anybody that gets the invitational membership, which that's what it's called,
Yeah.
it has a maturing factor, like a credit card.
Mm.
So, you know, if let's say you gentlemen come, you know, your member number is whatever your number is, whatever your number is, right? The more you show up to the place and recommend people, because the power of the member is that you can book tables for non-members.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
But if, like, let's say he says, "Yo, man, you know, I wanna get my man Sammy in here," you know, and he comes, Sammy comes, has a good time, respectful, everybody has a great time, and they leave, that counts towards his membership.
Oh, nice.
You know,
Yeah.
so then now what happens is that he starts unlocking features that the VIP member paid for. Because
there you
your
go.
card has matured. You took care of your home. You took care of your space. You took care of your fellow members. You know, you took care of my staff. You're respectful. Everything's your interview process from the beginning to the end. You know, like
True,
everybody's involved with someone to get a member. So every weekend we create memberships. We create members in there every weekend, depending on the energy. Like we see people having a great time. Yo, listen, man, we want you to come back.
Yeah.
You know.
Absolutely.
I don't care what you spend. I don't care if you came in here and had chicharron de pollo lollipops and then had a drink and left
Yeah.
and only spent $30, $20.
Yeah.
I don't care. But my bartender told me that she had the best conversation with you and that you're very interested. Like, we would love for you to come back so we could continue this conversation and this relationship
and further grow the relationship.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
That's what it is.
That's beautiful, man. Yo, go check it out if y'all haven't, bro.
Yeah,
Word
yeah.
up. That shit's fire.
Holla at him.
Now, we got to let the brother C's go. We're going to do two things really quick, and then I want to have a little bit of a conversation. So
Okay,
can
cool.
you name me your top 5 clubs of all time? Just your favorite places that you've been to, whether they exist anymore, whether they don't.
Yeah.
I got to hear some classic joints in there.
All right. Top 5. You know, they're obviously going to be all places that are represented. And just top 5 just because of, you know, what I experienced as a growth in this business.
Right.
You know? So number 1 is going to be, you know, the Conga Lounge that used to
Conga
be in Kennedy Boulevard in North
I
Bergen.
remember that. Yeah.
Across the street from the gas station.
Yeah.
That's where
That's the little spot.
Yeah,
is
the
it?
little spot.
Right next to the little car
dealership.
across the street from the gas station.
Yeah.
That was like, that's where it all started, man.
Conga Lounge. Holy
Like,
shit, I haven't heard
yeah.
those words in a long time. That's exactly why I wanted to ask you. That's beautiful.
So that place was that's
Shout
my
out
number
to that
1.
place.
'cause
They
that's-
went through like 5 different name changes.
Yeah.
I feel
I
like,
changed the
after.
name once. I was
Right.
responsible for changing the name once, you know. So it went from Congas, we changed it to Retro Lounge.
Retro
Right,
Lounge. Yeah.
So
okay.
I called Zeppi, which is the old owner, and Maria. I'm like, yo, look, man, we gotta change the name, because they were like, yo, Flacco, we want you back. You know, we need numbers to go back up. I'm like, yo, I'm not going back if it's Conga Lounge. We gotta change the whole name, change everything.
Right.
So I was responsible for the first full renovation and name change of that place.
Okay, good.
And I'm like,
I
yo, unless I
remember
see
that.
the papers of the name change on paper from your lawyer, I'm not going in there. So shout out to him. He
Absolutely.
followed my direction. He ended up changing the name again to Flow. And then
It's been a
I
couple.
think-
Lizard
I
Lounge.
think it's
Laguna?
still that. I don't know what
I
it
think
is anymore.
it's still Flow.
Right, but
It's still Flow. It was something else before that. It was something.
But yeah, so that would be my number 1, because that's where I got, you know, that's where I first started. You know, that's where I first started. I guess number 2 for me would be Bliss on Wednesdays.
Wow, Bliss. I've been to Bliss. On
Bliss.
Wednesdays.
Is that Clifton?
That was in
Yeah,
Clifton.
Clifton,
yeah.
right?
I went
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
That
I
was
went
on
there with
Clifton.
Lisa, my wife, my probably when we first started dating. Me, her, and one of her friends went over there.
Damn, 30 years ago, Bliss existed.
Yeah, that wasn't 30 years ago. Yo, I'm like, yo, hey,
My bad. Before C's, 30 years ago.
Yeah. No, so that place is crazy to me because that is where I saw the power of nightlife.
Okay.
So that's where I learned the power of nightlife was like, yo, 1,000, 1,200 people on a Wednesday.
That was a big place.
And it was huge.
Yeah.
That was not that was not
rinky-dink.
that was a big spot, bro.
Was, yeah.
And and the fact that I was able to be a part of it was just like that was great. You know what I mean?
Like you said.
Yeah, so I was a promoter there, but they I was treated like a sub promoter. They gave me like $100, $150, a couple of drink tickets.
But you gotta earn your stripes.
And I'm just man, I was just happy to be there, rocking with these guys at that time. And just learning, again, just learning. And then so that's my number 2. My number 3 would be probably be Lana Lounge in Hoboken.
In Hoboken, right?
Wow.
River Road. I think.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
That was crazy because then I started there. It's kind of like where I had an opportunity to evolve within my community. Because I was born in Hoboken. I lived in Jersey City in the Heights. When I was a young boy. So I'm there in Hudson County. So I'm like, that was a great thing to be able to evolve into a different chapter of my life there. And then I started getting to the New York nightlife. That's when we used to go to this place called La Vie in the Lower East Side. And that was crazy. Those are crazy times. So that's that one. My number 4 would be 118 Lounge in Newark, in Ironbound.
Okay, I heard that one. I don't know. No, I heard of that one.
Yeah, that's when I just that's where I really just started getting into like a whole different mode where now I was being involved with I was one of the main partners there and bringing in Evie Queen, Zion and Lennox from Puerto Rico. Wow. Now you got these big contracts that are being signed and just so the level up was real there. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then number 5, Casa De Lobo, man. You know what I mean? That's it. Home base. The castle has been built. You know what I mean?
Nah, that's
so those are my spots right there.
5 beautiful spots.
Yeah.
Classic. And a trip through memory lane. Right?
Hell
Absolutely.
yeah.
All right. I was going to ask you your top 5 DJs, but due to time constraints and the fact that we don't want y'all sensitive DJs hit DMing my bro asking him why you didn't make the list.
What a coinky
We're going to skip that, luckily.
Nice.
And I want to ask you, bro.
Shout out to Rockon and Ciroc, though. You heard?
That's 101 right there. 100. Yo, you seem to be the happiest dad, bro. I can tell you love Casa De Lobo. I can tell you love your people, your nightlife. But, yo, you love your daughter on a, like oxygen and shit. You feel me?
I always say that's the air I breathe. Whenever your daughter, man, that's the air I breathe, man. She's everything.
My name is Avery, and some people call me Baby Wolf. But on Wednesday, I have a big announcement. I'm having my first pop-up shop on Wednesday from 5 to 8 p.m. I'll put on your calendar now, and I really hope that you could support my business, and I'm really excited. This is my first pop-up shop, as I said, and I'll meet you there.
The love that she got on that pop-up shop, I mean, I can only imagine how she must have felt, how you must have felt watching her do that, put that together, man. I just want to say from one girl dads unite
I got 2.
to another,
Nice.
Fucking props
I appreciate
and love on that, bro.
Props to y'all
just
too,
how does that
man.
even feel, bro?
I just love, it's her upbringing, she her mother has a great head on her shoulder. She loves business. She wants the very, very best for her daughter, just like I do. And she is just the epitome of perfection,
right?
For
focus,
me. Yeah, man. She's just great. And I just one of the best things that come from this is just her having that feeling of being appreciated for her presence, her being appreciated for her efforts,
supported.
When I see her see the regulars now. Like she has regulars. That's crazy. She's 8. You know what I mean? Like, how does an 8-year-old have regulars? You know what I mean? Like, hey, you know, I wasn't gonna miss this. Like, oh yeah, you came to my lemonade stand. You know, like her lemonade stand. She killed it. Like she killed it. Like and the first thing she said, she's like, look, she's like, Daddy, with my money, I want to go to Best Buy and I want to buy an iPad because I want to start doing some research and I want to look up stuff for my baking place. I want to have a bakery. I want to do this. I want to look up ingredients and I want to look at YouTube videos on how I could get better, you know. And now with this one, she had her pop-up bake shop and she was selling cookies, brownies, cupcakes, and all that. And the first thing she said, she's like, I want to get a Polaroid camera so that I could like take pictures with the people that are coming. So like I have those memories. I'm like, you know, sometimes people think that this shit is scripted, you know, like I tell her to say these things, but she's just really like that, you know. And I always tell people that I just feel like, not because she's my daughter, but like I know her. I know she's been here before. You know what I mean? Like she's an old soul, man. She's been in this universe before. You know what I mean? And just like, you know, I know that I feel like she got put back into my life to like guide me as a father and as a man to make me a better person. You know, so that's my angel. You know, so
it's your anchor.
That's the way I view my daughter. You know
and
what
that's
I mean?
Beautiful, bro. And it's visible.
Yeah.
Like nobody can say, yo, that he fronting. That shit's fake. No.
Yo, I just took her to the Knicks game on Wednesday, right? For the first time. I haven't even posted it up yet because I just been like, I'm like, yo, we really lived that. Like, and my brother works there, and so does my son. My brother's like one of the big guys, and so he called the people downstairs like, yo, I need you to walk my brother and my niece down. So we stood on the logo. I'm like, yo, man, I've been a diehard Knicks fan since I can remember, man.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I've never ever touched that floor.
As a kid, hell no.
As an adult.
As alive.
Like this past Wednesday was the first time I ever stood on that logo, and it was with my daughter, man. Just like, and I was just happy that I was able to give her that experience. You know what I mean?
I gotta ask, did they win?
They lost, man. Yo, you know what's crazy?
Randall did one of those 3 for 25 nights again. Listen,
she literally, they gave us a brochure, right? And she goes to Julius Randall's page. She rips the page out. She said, yeah, we don't need them. I'm just like, yo,
they ran out of cash.
Trade him.
Nah, but you know what it is? Like, yo.
Nah, he's been having shitty games, bro. Like 6
man.
in a
Yo,
row.
my man's just sent me a video right now when he was playing against the Bucks. Jalen Brunson's trying to win this game. He already got 40-something points, and he misses the shot. Randall's in the middle of the court, like shrugging his shoulders, and he's walking back to defense, and they scored on him. Like, yo, what are you doing? Like, yo, we don't want to talk about
on
Randall.
both sides.
We're not talking about
Still,
Randall.
shout out to them. Shout out the Knicks. Who's my team? Oh, the Lakers.
Lakers fan, shut up.
We asked too. But
I got them beating the Magic though tonight. So
I'm gonna write that one down.
Quick pick.
Shout out to the brother C's. Shout out Casa De Lobo. If y'all haven't been there, go out of your way to try to get in there. It's so worth it. If you love music, if you love good vibes, good people, good food, go in there, have fun, meet the man. He will chill with you, he'll chat with you. The staff is beautiful.
Absolutely.
And you're guaranteed to have a good time.
Uh-huh.
If you can't get in, walk by, get some pizza at VB3. It's good too. And you can take pictures. It's beautiful in there too.
Definitely good. Definitely
try to do both.
Definitely good.
Shout out baby girl Avery. Shout out all the wolves, staff, DJ, chef, bartenders, waitresses, members, VIPs, family, everybody. Shout out to that. Shout out again, Sam Black and Dibiasi, Traptized 3 coming out.
That's right.
Shout out to Sammy at Timeless Product, Timeless Truth. The clothing line is out now. Make sure y'all hit him up. Get your pieces. They're super limited. He only dropped 43 of the first capsule. If you missed it, it's gone. That's just going to be worth money in the future, so fuck with it.
Big
and
facts.
C's, thank you again for coming up, my brother. We appreciate you so
we gotta
much.
have you
If you have any shout-outs, please.
I want
shout
to,
people.
you know, you shouted out the people that need to be shouted out. I just wanted to shout y'all out, you know, on behalf of all the entrepreneurs and visionaries out there trying to do it, trying to make it, trying to better themselves, man. You know, I'm humbled that, you know, you guys invited me here. Absolutely, you know, I'm grateful that you guys invited me here. And I think I speak on behalf of just like all those local visionaries and, you know, like-minded individuals that are just trying to be great, man, that, you know, that we're grateful for individuals like y'all, man, to just give us that one moment to shine, you know, like and
you earned it, brother.
And it's just like, you know, it's dope that you're providing that platform for you know, those individuals that are really trying to be great, to like come up here and like tell their side of the story and to share, you know, memories and their upbringings and, you know, their battles and whatnot, because
Absolutely.
you know, I know that we've all been through them, you know what I mean? And like, you know,
everybody's got a story, bro, and they deserve for it to be heard. You feel me?
Yeah. And you know, I'll close off with not giving a shout out, but just dropping a gem that I picked up on a documentary when I saw the Kanye West documentary. You know, when his mother down the West tells him that, you know, sometimes the giants don't see themselves in the mirror, you know, because they're too big, you know.
Right.
So, you know, to everybody out there, don't ever forget what you're doing, who you are, what journey you're on, man. Just, you know, just keep moving forward, you know, because there's nothing behind you, you know. Like, that's just what it is. Yep. That's the past, you know.
And be a motherfucking wolf
all day.
All day.
Absolutely.
Shout
be a
out
wolf.
all the wolves.
The wolf way, man.